Welcome everybody to the next screencast for Unit 4. Our topic today is Prohibition, 1919 and 1933, the final triumph of progressivism. Our learning outcome, you should be able to describe the causes and effects of the 18th Amendment to the Constitution, which is Prohibition. These young ladies right here are members of the Women's Christian Temperance Union, or the WCTU. They're going to be fighting for Prohibition for over 20 years. Lips that touch liquor shall not touch ours. Look at all these fine-looking ladies. Now, the 18th Amendment, or the Volstead Act, the belief was that liquor is the prime form of corruption in society. That men would go out after work, have a few drinks, come home, beat their wives, beat their children, and if you were to remove the liquor from that scenario, that men would be good and pure all over again. Women's Christian Temperance Union believe that drinking is a sin, and they're going to get a heavy push from the Midwest. The values in the Midwest are much more conservative than it is on each of the coasts. Also, on the coast, you're going to see a lot more immigrants, whereas in the Midwest, you're going to see a lot more white Americans. This 18th Amendment is going to get proposed by Congress to conserve wheat during World War I. Really, it's to conserve the wheat for eating versus creating the beer from. However, the interesting part about this is that it's going to get passed after the armistice from November 11th. It's about a week after that they passed this act. More on the 18th Amendment, it's going to go into effect in 1920. They're going to have a 7-year window for the states to ratify this amendment. It's only going to take about 13 months. It's going to ban the manufacture, sale, and transportation of alcohol. It does not, and let me repeat, does not make it illegal to drink alcohol. Because of the manufacture, sale, and transportation being banned, you're going to start to see a lot of speakeasies develop, which are secret clubs where people are going to go to drink. However, these places are not secret by any means. Everyone, including law enforcement, knows where these places are. Even law enforcement, they want to go and drink. We're also going to see bootleggers or alcohol smugglers on the rise. These are the guys that are going to start the creation of modifying vehicles and to outrun police. Here's a newspaper cover from the American issue. U.S. has voted dry. 36 state ratifies dry amendment. January 16th, 1919. Momentous day in world history. Once it does pass, you're going to start to see this happen. Barrel busting. All of these barrels full of liquor are just simply going to be dumped out and destroyed. Also here, outside a saloon, they're just going to dump it right into the gutter. Now, the effects of Prohibition. Consumption and related deaths are going to decline. That's great. That's fantastic. The problem is we're going to start to see home stills being developed. There's one that was outside of Austin, Texas, right after Prohibition had started, which was producing 150 gallons a day, which is a crazy amount for a home still. We're also going to see the rise of Al Capone. He's going to take over production and distribution in Chicago of liquor and selling it and manufacturing it. We're also going to see an increase in crime between gangs, which of course means murders, and Al Capone was notorious for bribing police. He has quite a few members of the Chicago police force on his payroll at this point. In 1927, Al Capone and his whole kind of ring of criminals take in $60 million, and he is by no means conservative with how he's going to flaunt his money, with silk pajamas, riding around in bulletproof Cadillacs, and all sorts of stuff. Eliot Ness. Eliot Ness is going to join the Treasury Department Alcohol Enforcement Chicago Division, which is basically the agency that was created by the Volstead Act. Eliot Ness is going to form the Untouchables. These are a group of 13 federal agents who get the name Untouchables because they are seen as uncorruptible. And they're going to target Al Capone as their number one criminal. Andrew Mellon, the Secretary of the Treasury, is also going to play a hand in this, taking on the mafia, the alcohol enforcement, and tax evasion side of it. And there's a picture of Andrew Mellon right there. With the help of the Treasury Department, Al Capone is going to get convicted of tax evasion. Not of murdering people, not of running liquor or anything like that, of tax evasion. That's what he's going to get sent to prison for, 11 years, and then he's going to end up dying after that. Now, the end of Prohibition. Prohibition is going to be really doomed from the start. It's underfunded from the very beginning. There's not enough agents to enforce the law. There's only 1,500 federal agents that are supposed to police 48 states at this point. Now, we're also including regular law enforcement here as well, in addition to the 1,500, but it's still not enough. In the mid-1920s, only 19% favored continuing prohibition. It sounded good in the beginning, but ultimately it doesn't pan out. And what a lot of people believe is it does more harm than it did good. In 1933, prohibition is going to be repealed by the 21st Amendment, and a lot of that has to do with the early Depression too, and starting to create some revenue. Here's another newspaper. Prohibition ends at last. Everyone is going to be much happier at this point. So let's recap. You should be able to describe the causes and effects of the 18th Amendment to the Constitution. Think about the WCTU going into those saloons and trying to destroy them and speak out against consumption of alcohol. The rise of organized crime. Now, Prohibition did not cause organized crime. It just simply allowed it to grow. Organized crime had been around for generations prior to this. Also, think about Eliot Ness and how he's going to be able to take down Al Capone for tax evasion. Ultimately, it just simply was doomed from the start. It didn't have enough support federally with agents and funding itself. So if you have any questions, let me know. Find me in class. Send me an email. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next time. I'm out.